That rooster, see him on the fence, and that hen, they are always making a mess of my kitchen herb garden. Those two are to blame. The grapes are looking good though. It's too bad that I am allergic, but the kids come out here every day. Oh, look at those really purple ones every day, and they eat. Underneath the bug-ridden leaves, there is like so many jackpots. Welcome to Scofield Farm. I'm Carice, and I am back in my garden after a little time away. I've been puttering here and there, coming out here, grabbing a handful of this, a handful of that for dinner. But we took a couple days out of town in the Bay Area, and this is kind of the first night I'm really kind of assessing what's really going on, because things grow so fast in August. It is crazy. We're in Northern California. We're in Zone 9B. We are outside the second sunniest city in the US, and we've had such a mild summer. This summer has been one of the coolest summers I have ever remembered, and I've grown up here. I'm actually indigenous to this area. I'm local Winnemem-Wintu, and I can't believe the wonderful temps we've had. Well, after our trip out of town to Santa Cruz, to the Bay Area of California, we got hit with 110 degrees in our garden. That is more what August and July is usually like. So back to reality. But yeah, there's so much to see and do. Things change so much in the garden. And especially if the gardener is not present, some things can get a little unruly and out of control. We've got some very good things going on though. All of these beans that I planted after I harvested a bed full of garlic, they're doing so good. They have little teeny beans growing on them. They have tons of flowers. We are going to have a wonderful late summer, early fall harvest of beans. Now I mostly planted Provider. I have some dragon tongue beans. Oh, here's one that looks just about ready. And then I also have a noodle bean that's supposed to grow up the middle. They're just starting to vine. So I'm gonna have a lot of beans. We do beans, green beans, as more fresh eating versus canning. I actually never grew up liking the taste of canned beans. And so I always tell people, grow what you love, eat things the way you will actually eat them. So for us, they are a seasonal food that we have when they're ripe. These lemon cucumbers are finally doing okay. Oh gosh, some sort of pest damage. I hope that they make it, because we planted them over and over. They just didn't want to do well for me this year, but here is hoping. Here is hoping. Let's see if that gets a little more water there. Oh look, I do have a few that are ready to harvest. Yay! It is green bean season, you guys. That is so cool. I love fresh green beans, sauteed. Ooh. I was out here earlier today harvesting, picking, flowers with my daughters. My oldest son's girlfriend came in town today, ready for them to go back down to school in Southern California. I'm looking for my other clippers right now as we speak. And we wanted to help make her a bouquet of our fresh flowers. Guys, you gotta see what I'm doing right here. All these gopher mounds all through the garden. So I'm stepping on them as I talk to you. Oh, seriously, this is why we have hardware cloth underneath our beds, because we would have nothing grow here. They would take everything if we didn't protect it. So as I was saying, we were trying to help make a bouquet of flowers. We have so many flowers in the garden. It is very fun, very exciting. So I'm looking for where we put our better clippers than this when we were harvesting, because the girls had them and I'm not really sure what they did with them. Isn't that a pretty color, Zinnia? It's kind of like such a dark pink, it's almost red. It really almost looks red in person. And onions falling over that I need to harvest. It's just, gosh, being gone just for a couple days. So much changes. And that pumpkin vine died. I think something ate the base of it. Let's look. Some sort of critter. Yep, that's why. See that? It's just eaten to shreds. And so we'll have to take that out real fast too. That thing's a beauty though. Look how big it is. All right, for Trobacino squash. Still having the hardest time finding those other clippers, so these might have to do with what I'm doing. But we are gonna go pick figs tonight at a friend's house. I love figs. We have a couple fig trees. None of our fig trees are doing well enough, are big enough, are taken care of, or watered well enough to actually produce figs for us. Oh, there they are, I found them. All right, that's what I was looking for this whole time that I'm wandering around. So maybe I'll remember to get some footage of that and take you with me while we harvest fresh, wonderful figs. We were just down in Santa Cruz. They were selling at farmer's market just a little basket, like the strawberry type basket of figs for $9. $9 a basket. So my friend letting us do a pick of her own trees for free is incredible. All right, the whole reason I found those is so I could get this little teeny baby zucchini off. Some of these, if they're not like, I don't know if they're just not pollinated enough, they won't grow bigger, but you can still eat them. So this is going to go with my scrambled eggs tomorrow. Yay for fresh zucchini. I also need to harvest a bunch more Tulsi basil. I love when it blooms because the bees like it, but I also love to harvest it because it's my favorite tea to drink every night. So as I was saying, we got back from just a 2-day quick getaway trip to Santa Cruz, California. We actually got engaged to get married over Labor Day weekend in Santa Cruz, California, almost 24 years ago. I think I figured out it was on September 1st. So it's a very special place for us. Also, my grandma and grandpa lived there while I was growing up, so I spent like between 2 weeks to a month there every single summer of my entire growing up life. I have so many memories. I know that town memorized on foot because where they lived, we could walk like everywhere. I'm looking for my coffee. It is so hot. It's that kind of day. So getting to go down and explore that for a little bit, getting a reprieve from the weather here, from the schedule here. There is so much all the time, not just on our little homestead. We have 3.5 acres in Northern California. We have a lot of chickens, a lot of chickens. Someone asked me the other day how many, and I said, I actually don't know. We have 5 roosters, if that gives you an idea, and they like shepherd our flock as we free range them on most of the property. And a lot of people ask me, like, how can we do that without having problems with hawks and stuff? We have very little loss of chicken life. I mean, there's like the normal loss, you know, but very, very little predator loss. And I think it's because we have so many roosters. And I love roosters. I love the sound of roosters. We've only lived like in county where we are able to have roosters. You can't have them in city limits around here. I've only lived out here for 6 years. Is it 6 years? We've owned it for 6 years. I think lived here almost 6 years. And it's like my favorite sound. It makes me happy and calm to hear the crow of roosters, whether it's ours or our neighbors. I know maybe that's an unpopular, different opinion. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on roosters. Anyway, they're more beautiful than hens. They really help take care of our hens. They really do, like, not just protect them. I'm sure they would give their life for them, but they herd them. They have different calls and things they say to tell them to hide from different type of predators. So it works for us. It works. I'm trying to remember why I was even saying all this. I think it was that, we have bees. We have 7 children. We have a large garden. We have a dog who just turned 4, a golden doodle. And we pastor a small church community in the area. My husband coaches soccer. He's coached soccer for like 21 or 25 seasons or something crazy like that. Multiple teams as well. So I think he figured out it's like 50 team seasons or something. He tunes pianos. He teaches music lessons. I homeschool our kids. I was a credentialed teacher for years, still licensed, credentialed under state of California. I don't know why I'm saying all this. I'm just saying we needed the time away. We needed the time away. And I am a believer that it's great to get time away. And I hear different people talk about it like, create a life that you don't need to get away from. Yes, I actually totally agree with that, except sometimes, this may be an unpopular opinion, sometimes you still love your life You love your kids. Oh my gosh, there's a hummingbird right over there. And I missed it. I was going to show you, but I missed it. So you love your life. You love your family. This is not a provider bean. I think I must have planted another bean that I was running out of. This is not provider. This is what provider looks like, and this is something different. Anyway, you love the life you've created, but you still need a recharge. And having 7 kids and having so many different directions, we're like running all the time. It's good for my husband and I, for both of us with very adventurous spirit hearts, to get away. And then when we come back, we have so much more grace for the life that we've chosen here. We have chosen a really great life. All the things we do, we actually love and enjoy. But to combat burnout, to have something more to give, to be united in our marriage, we've been married almost 24 years. 23 and a half years. We need connection. We need a little bit of respite, not far, but just driving down and coming back. It's refreshing. Yeah, I must have planted something else here because some of these beans are just too fat and flat to be provider. I have a vague memory of putting something else in here too. And I thought it was dragon tongue, but maybe not. These are definitely not dragon tongue. Just because you love your life does not mean you sometimes don't need a break. Just because you love your kids doesn't mean that sometimes you don't need a break, or love ministry, or love the place you live. I stepped on this. I've been growing zinnia in the path, and I don't know if it's the best idea, but this is what I do. I just like ready, fire, aim sometimes, but some of them are end up casualties. Okay, I love tea. I'm gonna pick a bunch of chamomile right here. Isn't it beautiful? It's kind of near the end of the season, so it's getting really dry, but I still can get a lot of tea from this. And I'm not perfect at how I do it by any means. I just kind of pull the heads off. Sometimes I trim back the top stems that look dead. Sometimes I don't. So I'm trying to get as much harvest and get it to reproduce as much as I possibly can, because I am a tea drinker. I'm a coffee drinker in the morning, sometimes a coffee in the afternoon. Okay, usually a coffee in the afternoon. And then always herbal tea at night, always. And I like to drink the teas that I grow myself. It's like my thing. This is my favorite time of day to be out in the garden. I have a huge gray pine that's behind me on the west side, and it gives me about an hour to hour and a half shade at the hottest time of day. And I know this is the hottest time of day, however, it doesn't feel as bad when you're in the shade as when you're in the direct sun. So I actually feel like the time that I would actually get out here in the morning would already be so hot that this is much more manageable for me. Just the way I'm wired. I do take the dog on a walk in the mornings. Those roosters, they love how I bragged about them, and now they're wanting to make their voice known. There are so many opinions out there, especially with social media, YouTube, how all the world is so connected, that tell us how we should live and enjoy our lives. And it's really easy to feel like somehow we're failing if we don't live and enjoy our lives the way they do. And I'm not talking about moral issues. I do believe that there's like a actual ultimate right and wrong and a God who is our judge. However, wanting to get away on a little break from your homestead, that's not one of those issues. But there are very strong opinions out there on every side. For every issue, it doesn't have 2 sides, it probably has like 10. Strong opinions, we hear them all on social media, on the internet. People have become so divided, and that sometimes I think, like, just let people live the way that they live, and we're probably more alike and see a lot more things in common than we give ourselves when we get really worked up about issues that don't necessarily matter. They're just very individual for different people. I'm one of those homeschool moms that's also a credentialed public school teacher. I served on a school board for 7 years for a private Christian school. I don't have an opinion on exactly how people should educate their children. I think it's individual. that could be an unpopular opinion, but I really do think that we can be led and guided how to best care for our family and the kids entrusted to us, and it might look different for different people. There's a lot of things about life that might look different for different people, and you know, we're keeping the main thing for our family. We are trying to serve and honor God in all that we do, even the way that we farm and garden and raise animals. A lot of other things are just individualistic and up to different people's choices. Okay, so showing you how like sometimes I'll snip the dead part off, hoping that it will like give the green part below a chance to put off more of that beautiful stuff. And I'm just kind of like putting it in my garden bed because I figure if there's any like seeds from the chamomile, I would love to keep having volunteers in this corner. I love chamomile, and even though a lot of places people tell me they get a lot of volunteer of it, I don't. I don't get enough volunteer. I would love to have the chamomile be in my garden the way the zinnia and the path are in my garden. Everywhere. I would love my chamomile everywhere. Okay, let's see what happens next year and if I regret those words. But that's what I think I would enjoy. Giving it a little haircut with kind of dull shears. I need to get my shears sharpened. That's what I need. Okay, so one thing I need to do is water a couple pots in here that are not on drip. I have this hose reel. It's pretty cool. I love it, but it does sometimes knock over this random tomato cage, so I gotta be real careful with how I pull it. This wheelbarrow of soil that I mixed that I never finished using, so I'm trying to keep it from getting hydrophobic by watering it while the hose is hot. All right, it's cool. And I managed to knock over my tomato again. I have a few things a ways away, and I don't want to try to get this across all my zinnias, so I do a bucket for those. Get myself some lime basil in the meantime. These chickens look mighty thirsty. Can you make sure that, well, go check if it actually looks clean, okay? Also see if the chicks are in our yard. The chicks? Okay, when I forget to wear a glove, squash vines, pumpkin vines stab me and give me thorns in my hands forever and ever. Loss of plants in a garden, if you grow food long enough, is absolutely normal. You just get used to some years. You're gonna have good years of certain crops, and some years it might be bad. That's okay. We still have pumpkins from last year on my shelf that we're still eating, like that are literally, have been stored for over a year. Or not over a year, they've been stored for almost a year. All right. Too bad, but gonna give room to these other plants that are crowded, like my tomatoes. I believe this is a sun gold, which is my very favorite cherry tomato there is. Okay, here we go. It may have been a mistake to let all these zinnia go crazy in this bed. A couple of my tomatoes are looking pretty bad, I think because of it, but I've really enjoyed the zinnia. It's made me very happy. Most of them were volunteers, like by large majority were volunteers. This is a year my grandma died. I didn't have time to actually plant a bunch of flowers. I have a video about why I'm starting my seeds late. I'll link that below, but this was a blessing. And so if it means some of my tomatoes are struggling, they were already stunted. We already had issues with tomatoes. And sometimes I just have to say, I'm gonna take the trade-off. I have plenty of tomatoes in this garden. Yeah, they're all a little bit behind and late because we planted late this year because my grandma passed away. But overall, I am very happy with the wild jungle of flowers that my garden has become because that has been fulfilling for me in the season I'm in my life right now. Letting volunteer flowers grow also means I need to deadhead a ton of flowers because I like them to bloom again. I have bees, I keep bees. I love my bees to have plenty of choices. So I cut off all the dead stuff so that it will put off new heads. And I actually cut this one almost to the ground before and it came back up and bloomed. So I'm gonna do that again, pretty similar, because I love having beautiful flowers. And this is real life gardening. It's not like the flowers rebloom on their own. Someone has to rip stuff out and do something. The stuff that goes in this bucket usually goes in the burn pile. I don't need to burn the cosmos, but things like maybe diseased pumpkin vines or diseased tomatoes I pulled out, those I'd rather burn than have disease continue in the compost. And I don't know, I started burning a lot of things. I'm gonna pack this thing so far down. We are here to show you what real life gardening is like. Real life growing food, real life homesteading. And it's not always pretty and it's not always easy, but I actually like cutting things back sometimes because it feels like a fresh start. Fresh start. There's also bugs on this thing. I don't know if they became a trap crop or if it's attracting the bugs, but another reason why I like to burn some stuff. Pruning in the garden can be therapeutic because it's kind of like life. I know I've said this kind of stuff a lot. I learn a lot about life or process a lot of life through garden lessons. We're about to start another school year, about to start homeschooling again, dance, soccer, all of the things. And so cutting this back for another bloom kind of feels symbolic of how my schedule is about to shift and change. Hopefully for a fruitful year, right? Hopefully it's going to be a fruitful year with lots of blooms, lots of good things. I need to trim the excess to make room for what is about to come. Rooster tassels are probably my favorite because I have 5 boys and I like to say they're roostering. If you've had chickens, you know exactly what I mean by saying something's roostering. They are sitting here begging for chard and treats because I had my son check and they have plenty of water. They do not need water. So we recently requeened our beehive because I don't know if we killed her or what during an inspection. Regardless of how it happened, we keep bees. It's been 3 years, almost 4. Well, this is our 4th year. We are no teaching channel by any means, not experts. We're just learning as we go. It's just another part of our homesteading adventure. And I will link in the description the video of the update of how it's going with the requeening, because it's the first time we've actually added a queen in a cage. We've always bought a nuke if we're going to start fresh with a hive, or we have done walkaway splits before multiple times very successfully. Got them through the winter successfully more than one time. Did not this last year. That's why we got new bees, but yeah, it's all an adventure. It's all something I'm learning, just like the hard prune back of these cosmos to give room to this tomato, a couple tomatoes that have no light right now because I let this kind of get out of control. It's all a learning adventure. It's all something that I'm learning and growing from. Learning about life lessons in the garden. Always, always, always life lessons in the garden about making room and a schedule in the garden beds for other things. I simply cannot do it all. I'm about to go into a new school year of homeschooling, soccer, dance, all the things. And I simply can't do it all. So I've got to trim the excess things that had their moment to shine to make room for more to grow. Be fruitful, to blossom, to bloom, to add beauty and happiness to life. I was trying to prune this all exact, let the ones blooming live. I have plenty of things blooming in my garden for my bees. I have plenty of things. I can just give these a deep cut back, give my tomatoes back here a chance to have a little light. Maybe they can grow and not be too crowded and shaded out. Maybe not. It's worth a shot. It's worth a shot. Give something else a turn. This is what I mean. This tomato is spindly, has no room to grow. I'm gonna stick that up there. It does have a little something on it. I think it's, oh gosh, it's one of my favorites. Brad's atomic grape. Yeah, I definitely want that one to grow. This one, so little. Mini orange, it's definitely mini. And the one over there, it's pretty little too. So yeah, I definitely am hoping we get these going better. I don't think I had the water go today either. And it was so hot, everything's so dry. I gave them the dead-headed sunflowers. They love it. They eat them up. And then it means my sunflowers put off more and more blooms. I feel like this is a pretty good harvest for just right now. I actually already got 3 huge bouquets of flowers today. This is an onion, lime basil, chamomile, green beans, corbace and banana peppers, 1 ancho pepper, a little zucchini. What else is in there? I don't know. I think there's more stuff, but that's what I can see right now. And I'm pretty happy with it. I got to show you us picking the figs. This is going to be awesome. I was listening to a Justin Rhodes video from like a month ago. He was talking about to actually grow what you eat. I 100% agree. These are the kinds of things that my family and I really enjoy eating, and so that's what we grow because we love it. And we eat most of our stuff that we grow seasonally because we can grow food year-round here. I like putting basil in a cup. That way I can use it fresh. And then I put some on a shelf. That way I can dry it, have teas, and use it dry. Chamomile, tulsi, basil, peppers, some different stuff there. Remember I talked about pumpkins we have? Yeah, those are from last year. So we are fine in the pumpkin department. Aren't these the most beautiful pomegranates? Our tiny little trees are not like this. This is a good one. I like this.
Actually, we have one there.
No, we have 2.
Are they fruitless?
Nope.
My neighbor has been over twice sick, so I might have to get the higher one.
I am a big fan of figs. Yeah, then you just wash your hands before you touch your face. That's what I do. It's not going to hurt your hands. What it will do, no, if it's really ripe, there won't be latex. It's when they're not quite as ripe, there's latex at the stem. All right, then just avoid that part, but eat the rest of it. I don't know if it's possible to see, but there are so many dragonflies everywhere, and I don't know if it'll show up, but super cool. They're everywhere. They're huge. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next video.